50 years after Amar Jawan Jyoti, the eternal flame was lit at Delhi's India Gate. It has now been merged with the Amar Jawan at the National War Memorial. On 26th of January in 1972, the Amar Jawan Jyoti was included as part of the India Gate Memorial. It was an inverted bayonet and a soldier's helmet with an eternal flame burning, signifying supreme sacrifice. Now this comes in the run-up to the Republic Day function this year, the 75th year of India's independence. The National War Memorial is located barely 400 meters away from India Gate. In 2019, the War Memorial was built in the memory of soldiers and unsung heroes who made the supreme sacrifice of their lives defending India's independence since 1947. It was also decided that the Amar Jawan Jyoti would continue in its place even as the new eternal flame was lit at the National War Memorial. But the government has now decided and implemented that decision of taking that eternal flame from India Gate, as you see in these images, to the National War Memorial.
You would rather have it under the tutelage of a colonial this thing, or would you rather have it under your own this thing?
लेकिन राहुल गांधी का ये कहना है कि उन्होंने
मैंने बहुत समय पहले राहुल गांधी जी के कमेंट्स को सीरियसली लेना बंद कर दिया, बहुत देर पहले। वही राहुल गांधी जी हैं जो कहते थे बच्चों, मोदी जी हमारे बच्चों की वैक्सीन कहाँ है, वही राहुल गांधी जी और कई किस्म की बातें करते हैं। तो देखिए, आपके पास जब न्यूज नहीं होती तो आप राहुल गांधी जी के स्टेटमेंट्स को ले लेते हैं, ठीक है? तो अभी जिनको कमेंट करना है उसे करने, अभी हमें काम करने दीजिए।
मशाल बुझाई जा रही है, मशाल
को मर्ज किया जा रहा है टू ऑनर ऑल दोज हु हैव लेड डाउन देयर लाइव्स। ये 1971 के तो उस समय जो ट्रिब्यूट थी यहाँ पे, अब तो एक वॉर मेमोरियल बनाया गया है जो उन्होंने 70 साल नहीं बनाया, वो हम लोग बना रहे हैं। राहुल गांधी इज अ लास्ट मिनट कंट्रोवर्सी, नॉट दैट व्हाट ही इज रेजिंग।
Fact is that all our ceremonies are now being held at the National War Memorial. So I think it's also appropriate, that the flames be merged at one place, because you could also have criticism that you have the eternal flame at the India Gate, but no official ceremonies are being held there. And now that the National War Memorial has got constructed and sort of has primacy, so I'm not trying to sort of devalue India Gate, and it's an iconic structure. It has the names of World War I and the Afghan war soldiers, and they need to be respected as much. But now that the new War Memorial has come up, I think it's appropriate that we have ceremonies at that place.
Time has come to shift the Amar Jawan Jyoti to merge it with the National War Memorial. If you go to India Gate, you find it's a very sacred thing, the Amar Jawan Jyoti. But however, in and around India Gate, you find our people who are picnicking there, who are making a lot of other things. But the National War Memorial is a sacred thing. It honors the Indian soldiers, the sailor and air warriors. It honors their supreme sacrifice. It also celebrates the soldiers. So I do feel that something which is being done is in the best interest of the armed forces and the nation and the people of India.
Amar Jawan commemorates those who fought and died in Pakistan war. But when we move to National War Memorial, we commemorate every Indian who fought and died from 47 onwards till present day.
आज की तारीख में नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल में जो एक वहाँ पे फ्लेम जल रही है, वो तो फ्लेम यहाँ से बोरो की गई है और वो इसी का हिस्सा है। आप एक देश में एक ही जगह में दो जगह पे ऐसी फ्लेम नहीं कर सकते हो जो कि एक तो अंग्रेज़ों के टाइम पे बनाए हुए, वो एक हरिडली बनाई थी। हाँ, 50 साल हो गए वहाँ पे हम सोल्जर्स को रिस्पेक्ट पे कर रहे हैं, लेकिन अननोन सोल्जर्स को तो एक बहुत फ़र्क है। तो मेरा ख्याल ये नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल इज़ द ओनली प्लेस वेयर द सोल्जर्स हैव टू बी ऑनर्ड।
Think that this is a very wise decision on part of the government to merge the Amar Jyoti with the National War Memorial, because Amar Jyoti was a temporary measure which was taken by the government when we didn't have a National War Memorial to honor all those people, all those soldiers, officers who had been martyred up to 1971 war. Now, since we have a National War Memorial, so it is appropriate and it is in fitment of things that the Amar Jyoti should be merged with the present national.
India Gate was built by the British for British Indian Army soldiers. And remember, 90,000 of them had made the supreme sacrifice of their lives fighting in the First World War in France, in Flanders, in Mesopotamia, and only 13,000 names are there. 90,000 died, 13,000 names are there. Then in 1971, when India split Pakistan, Bangladesh was born. It was Brigadier Tegh Bahadur Sapru who took that decision to make a memorial for Indira Gandhi to pay her respect, or for governments to pay their respect in 1972 Republic Day. It was a temporary structure. A National War Memorial was to be made. But for 50 years, close to 50 years, there was no National War Memorial till one was built by the government, by the Narendra Modi government. But there is now unabated politics on this eternal flame, the Amar Jawan Jyoti. Responding to Congress party's charge, top government sources have said that the eternal flame has not been doused. It is being merged, as you see in those images there, with the eternal flame at the National War Memorial. Sources are telling India Today that true homage is being paid to every Indian soldier who made the supreme sacrifice of his life since 1947 till date, and not just soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice in one war. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, of course, said that some can't understand the sacrifice of braves. Congress said that extinguishing the flame is equivalent to extinguishing history. Union Minister Smriti Irani responded saying that Congress should not preach about nationalism, especially since they questioned Balakot, since they are the ones who did not clear the National War Memorial.
आजादी के बाद दिल्ली में कुछ गिने चुने परिवारों के लिए ही नवनिर्माण हुआ, लेकिन आज देश उस संकीर्ण सोच को पीछे छोड़कर नए गौरव स्थलों का निर्माण कर रहा है, उन्हें भव्यता दे रहा है। ये हमारी ही सरकार है जिसने दिल्ली में बाबा साहब मेमोरियल का निर्माण किया। ये हमारी ही सरकार है जिसने रामेश्वरम में एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम स्मारक को बनवाया। इसी तरह नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस और श्यामजी कृष्ण वर्मा जैसे महापुरुषों के साथ जुड़े हुए स्थानों को भव्यता दी गई है।
It symbolizes the valor and sacrifice of India's brave hearts. Can you envision Delhi? Can you envision national capital without the Amar Jawan Jyoti? Then tomorrow Modi ji will remove India Gate also. He is actually denigrating symbols which have become symbolical of our pride. They don't belong to any political party. Our soldiers belong to everybody.
The eternal flame that was placed temporarily in 1971 post the Indo-Pakistan war is being merged with the eternal flame in the National War Memorial, which is where it should be. And so today for a congressman to be criticizing that is really a situation where every countryman should ask the Congress, why did you not do for the last 6 decades when you were in government?
Any nation has ever built a future for itself by playing around with its history. But I understand why they are doing that, because they had no role in the history of our nation and how its foundation was laid. And to alter our history is what they're trying to do. But the reality is it also shows you scant disregard for the nationalism that we stand for.
प्रज्वलित अमर जवान ज्योति को आज उचित और सम्मानजनक स्थान मिल रहा है युद्ध स्मारक पर, वॉर मेमोरियल पर। खुद के लिए तो गांधी खानदान ने बहुत बड़ी-बड़ी समाधियां बनवाई और भारत के सेना के बलिदानियों के प्रति इतनी लापरवाही थी कि उन्होंने अंग्रेजों के बनाए एक इंडिया गेट के नीचे बस ज्योति जलाकर काम चला लिया।
Joining me now on India Today, the finest military voices and analysts on the subject. It is my privilege to welcome General VP Malik, former Chief of Army Staff, the general who won the Kargil War for us in 1999, was the chief during Kargil. Also my proud privilege to welcome Lieutenant General Satish Dua, former Chief of Integrated Defence Staff. Incidentally, General Dua was the officer at the helm of affairs when the National War Memorial was coming up, was conceptualized and executed on ground, this project. Also with me, India Today's executive editor, Shivarur, and India Today magazine's managing editor, Sandeep Unnithan, gentlemen who know the finest and the most on matters military. General Malik, if I may begin with you, sir, your take on the eternal flame being merged with the National War Memorial. Is this, as some argue, denigrating or rewriting history?
Good evening, Gaurav.
Good evening, sir.
The first thing I'd like to say is that what has happened today is the natural thing to do. And now that we have a National War Memorial, it is absolutely correct for us to merge the two flames that have been there under India Gate and at the National War Memorial. The second thing that I wish to emphasize is that I think it is totally unnecessary politics that is going on over such an issue, which concerns national security, which concerns the soldiers who have given their life for their country before the First World War, before the independence and after independence. They all fought for the nation. They did not fight for any political party. Let us always remember that. And what is going on, this controversy which has been raised by different political parties for their own interests, is totally uncalled for. Now, let me just very briefly give you the history of both India Gate Memorial as well as of the National War Memorial.
Sure.
India Gate Memorial, as you said, came up in 1932. And what is written on top of the gate is to the dead of the Indian armies who fell and are honored in France and Flanders, Mesopotamia and Persia, East Africa, Gallipoli, and elsewhere, in the near and the far east, and in sacred memory also of those whose names are here recorded and who fell in India or the northwest frontier and during the Third Afghan War. Now that is what is written there. Although we had 90,000 Indian soldiers who were killed during First World War, and without them, the Allies could not have won that war, only 32,300 or so names are etched there. Now, after that, Second World War took place. Nobody took notice of that. Thereafter, India became independent.
Yes.
We fought 47-48 war. We fought 62 war, 65 war, and then 71 war. Till then, nobody took notice of the martyrs or the people who had died, who had been killed in action before and after independence.
That's a
It was
very pertinent
in
point you made there.
1972. Can I just make this point about, give me a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes more.
Go on, sir.
It was in 1972 that Mrs. Gandhi's government decided that we should have a proper memorial. But then the time was very short, so they made a stopgap or makeshift memorial under the India Gate, where a reverse rifle with a helmet on top was kept, and the flame was lit there. What we've been calling the Amar Jawan Jyoti. After decades of fighting with the government, the soldiers managed to get the National War Memorial. I know that for decades because I have myself gone through this struggle.
Yes.
We wanted to ask for a National War Memorial, and then it came up with the present government. Now the National War Memorial has got names of all the soldiers who died after we got independence.
Yes.
Not only in the wars, but also in the counterinsurgency campaigns, as well as in Sri Lanka or elsewhere that they fought.
That's a
And
very
this one
pertinent
has
point to
names
make,
of
General.
people not only of 71 war,
Yes.
but also of the other wars that were fought before and after that.
Oh, absolutely.
So
And you
I
mentioned a
think that
struggle.
That is the right thing to do.
General, you
And,
mentioned that you had to struggle with governments to get land or clearance for a national war memorial.
Yes.
General Dua, if I may, what was the struggle like? What was the resistance? And what was the concept of the national war memorial that has come up?
Gaurav, like General Malik rightly brought out, for decades we did not have a national war memorial. So we had to make do with the only war memorial that was existing about India Gate, about which much has been said. The Amar Jawan Jyoti was installed under that in 1972. But when we started the construction or creation of this national war memorial, it was at the highest level that it was decided that this spot near India Gate should be the place where it should come up. Because earlier there were voices that it should go to the military area, the Delhi Cant, etc. Now I just want to explain a very pertinent fact about the National War Memorial, which will do away with the controversy that I've been hearing since morning. This is a national war memorial for all India's brave hearts who made the supreme sacrifice, past, present, or future. It is only for the purposes of, enshrining the names of those who made the supreme sacrifice, that a baseline of independence was taken. That means, as far the names are concerned, we had to start somewhere. So we started from independence. So 1947 onwards, all names in all kinds of operations, wars and counter-terrorism or otherwise, are enshrined in this National War Memorial. What has happened today? What has happened today is this symbolic, the military ceremony actually takes the flame from the 71 flame that was existing from Amar Jawan Jyoti and has merged the flame with the the eternal flame at the National War Memorial. It is a symbolism like you have the Olympics. A flame travels from Athens connecting various dots and goes to the city where Olympics is being held. This is the symbolism, which is the military correctness that has been done today. The the Amar Jawan Jyoti flame has not been extinguished. We all saw the ceremony. That continues to burn bright. But the fact is that the designated place for anyone to pay homage is here, whether it is a political leader or whether it's leaders, whether it is foreign dignitaries or the public. And the National War Memorial, just allow me 1 odd minute more, is a place where it is the eternal flame to pay homage, right? It is also depicting the famous battles. There are war murals in this area. There are statues of the Paramveer Chakra Vijetas, the highest gallantry awards, and along with a write-up of their brave deeds. So all in all, it is a place where in all Indians, anyone else as well, can congregate.
It's a temple of our brave
fallen heroes.
It is something that inspires future generations of warriors. And Shiv, this politics that we see around this, Shiv, you and Sandeep Unnithan and I, we've reported very extensively the uphill battle that the army had to fight within to get this land for the construction of the National War Memorial. And we saw politics then. We are seeing politics now, Shiv.
You know, Gaurav, let's be very clear about one thing. The National War Memorial, getting to that point was a huge struggle, like General Dua, who was part of the entire project, has detailed for us. And there's no question about it. There was the fact that a National War Memorial took such a long time to come into fruition, is a separate story in itself. Of course, it is true that, the Amar Jawan Jyoti, if you look at it from a technical perspective, has found its rightful place at the National War Memorial. However, there are issues that have kept the window open for politics. Politics will always happen, but there are some questions that have to be asked as well, Gaurav. For instance, in 2019, when the government at that time, when the National War Memorial was being inaugurated, said that the Amar Jawan Jyoti at the India Gate is an inseparable part of history, because 50 years, takes things to the next level from being just a stopgap. All of those facts are, definitely true. So, what changed between 2019 and now is a question that hasn't satisfactorily been answered so far. But on every other aspect of what we're seeing right now, the politics, the Congress accusing the BJP of, trying to douse the Indira Gandhi legacy, that's only to be expected. That's probably the minimum amount of politics you would expect with such an emotive and, if I may use the flame, inflammatory topic. So nobody should be, unduly surprised about that. But I think given that you're dealing with the emotions of families, the emotions of veterans, this is going to be a topic of conversation for quite a few days and weeks now.
And Sandeep, do we have an explanation from the government or from the army what changed between 2019 and 2022? In 2019, we were told, and we were all together when it was said, even though the National War Memorial has come up, the eternal flame will continue at India Gate. I'll take a moment and reestablish that link with Sandeep Punithan in just a moment. But General Malik, is this history being rewritten? Is history or the contribution of maybe 71 war heroes, in your appreciation, is that being lowered or denigrated when the eternal flame shifts to the National War Memorial, in your appreciation, sir?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Their names are already enshrined in the National War Memorial, so there is absolutely no question of, their memory being forgotten. Or, in fact, I would say that everybody's name which is there on the India Gate are in the registers that have been kept there. That will also continue to be remembered and honored. There is no question of forgetting any of the people who were killed in action from that. The other point that you people are making is from 2019 to now, why this flame was not shifted. My own take is that, like politics, all decisions are sometimes taken in a hurry. And that is what happened even in 72. The makeshift arrangement which was being done with a reverse rifle and a helmet on top, it was done within a few days. Although they wanted to have a memorial, National War Memorial, but there was no time. And so the decision was taken in a hurry, and that memorial came up, Amar Jawan Jyoti Memorial came up. Similarly, I have a feeling that in 2019, when National War Memorial was inaugurated, at that time people did not think of shifting the flame from one place to the other. There was also an idea, I know that we'll encompass both the India Gate Memorial as well as this into one complex. Now that also has not happened. Maybe it's time for us now to put the whole thing together and make it into one memorial, with of course the National War Memorial continuing to be the place for ceremonial honoring our brave Jawans who were killed in action.
Good point you make there, sir. General Dua, since you were at the helm of affairs, what was the thinking in 2019 or earlier when the National War Memorial was coming up, that would the eternal flame continue at Amar Jawan at India Gate, or was it always to be ultimately shifted to the Rashtriya Samar Smarak?
Look, Gaurav, when you use the word shifted, the flame, it continues to burn there in Amar Jawan Jyoti as well. The thought process was that eventually this will be the designated place, that is the National War Memorial, will be the designated place to pay homage. That is the official, at the national level, this will be the place where foreign dignitaries, leaders, etc. will pay, on the national days, will pay homage. Now, we have been, for the last 3 years, continuing to do the same. This symbolism of merging the flames is only to say that the 71 war heroes flame that was lit over there, which has continued to burn for half a century, will now also be merged along with this. And in fact, if you notice today's ceremony, it is purely a military ceremony. There is no political participation as such. I mean, it has become a national news, and then there has been a controversy and all that. But otherwise, it is a military ceremony in fitness of things to be taken. About the political controversies, I will not like to comment. But I think in military fitness of things, correct things have been done at the right place.
You're saying it's the right thing that's been done. Again, a question to both of you. But before that, I want to bring in Sandeep Unithan if we have the link with him once again. Sandeep, what was the thinking, to shift from point A to point B? As some argue, could both not have continued? Sandeep.
Decide to move this, flame, the symbolic flame.
And to remember,
General Malik, as I try and reestablish that link with Sandeep Unithan, could both have continued, as some have argued that the perception is that the Narendra Modi government is showing that they have built a national war memorial, so that gets primacy now. And since Indira Gandhi had ordered, Brigadier Tegh Bahadur Sapru, if I remember correctly, to build this war memorial, the Amar Jawan Jyoti in 72, its importance is now going down, sir.
It's very unfortunate that today our politics have got so polarized that they, even in national security issues or even the pure military issues like we are having today, they are indulging into politics and trying to politicize the whole issue. It's rather unfortunate, and I wish they do not do that. But having said that, there is absolutely no reason for anybody to think that there are individuals who are, whether it is Mrs. Gandhi, she took the right step at that time when we had no national war memorial, and that ad hoc decision was taken, a makeshift arrangement was made there under the India Gate canopy. Now, as far as this is concerned, this came up after decades of a very vociferous demand by the both veterans as well as serving soldiers that the present government managed to construct that. Well, credit goes to the present government, because after decades of our struggle, in fact, I know of many chief ministers of Delhi state who refused to give us land anywhere near India Gate. And there were many politicians who wanted us to shift the memorial either to military cantonment or far away from India Gate. So now that we have a national war memorial and it has been inaugurated and we are respecting it for last 3 years, all the ceremonies are being held there. I think it's just the natural issue, natural part of our processes, military processes, that the flame is shifted from India Gate to the National War Memorial. The flame which was lit in 1972, that is being merged with the flame that we already have under the National War Memorial.
Okay. And if I may, General Dua, and I want both of you, to respond to this. General Dua, what was the objection? Why is it that a temporary structure that came up in 1972, a makeshift arrangement that came up in 1972, lasted close to 50 years? What was the objection? What were the hurdles in the construction of a national war memorial for close to 50 years, sir?
Look, like General Malik also alluded to it, that successive military leadership, generations of military leadership have tried to get a war memorial at a national level. Successive governments have also tried, but we were not able to get land at an appropriate place. Even when I started steering the construction as chief of IDS of this one, there were murmurs of why here, why not shift it to the center, till it was designated at the highest level as a project of national importance, so then it could pay to all other efforts.
At the highest level,
all in all,
who, sir? Whose decision was it that National War Memorial is to be built where it was built?
It came from the PMO. I said so. It had to come from the highest level, because after we started on the project, the task was given. Still, there were some murmurs at some quarters of bureaucracy that, okay, this is better shifted to the cantonment. And Delhi cantonment was the place. I'm stating that openly. But we realized that if you take it to a military cantonment, nobody would travel there to see that. Military cantonments are foreboding in terms of entrance, etc. This is the right place where the world descends to this place. A tourist, whether he's a domestic or international tourist, also comes over here. As you see in the capitals in the world, the idea was to make a memorial which showcases the supreme sacrifices made by our fallen heroes, and not only inspire our future generation, but also showcase to the world as to how we honor our heroes. So to that extent,
so you're saying this was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's decision. If I could take you back in history a bit, General Malik, I wonder if you'd remember, sir, I was a young reporter when we were celebrating 25 years of India's victory over Pakistan in 1971 war, 25 years of that. You were the Vice Chief of the Indian Army. Was there objection to celebrating the silver jubilee of that victory?
Yes, there were objections, and I had to fight this out in the Cabinet Secretariat when people did not want us to celebrate the Silver Jubilee of 1971 war. And I had to fight it out. In fact, that was one of the reasons why even Field Marshal Manekshaw, whom we were wanting to invite, he was also not inclined to come to Delhi. And after I had to fight it out in the Cabinet Secretary with Cabinet Secretary and the Defense Secretary and others, then they gave us permission to go ahead and celebrate the Silver Jubilee of the war. And I managed to convince Field Marshal Manekshaw to come. He came to Delhi, he laid the wreath, and then went away. He did not wait for any other function to be held in Delhi. You're right. You know, the politics have been playing a dirty game. I can write a book on this whole issue of National War Memorial, because I have also known the number of sites that have been selected by people, but all because the government of the day and the chief ministers of the day in Delhi, they did not want the war memorial to come anywhere near India Gate. I can write a book on that. And now that we have got it, which is what we wanted, I see absolutely no reason why they should get involved.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Perhaps you should write a book. Perhaps I should come and interview you once again. It was my privilege to interview you then when India was celebrating the silver jubilee of our war, of our victory over Pakistan in 1971. Now we've celebrated golden jubilee of that war. It's a privilege to have you on the show with us, General Dua, General Malik, for joining me here on India Today. Many thanks.